During the pre-production stage, digital technologies were essential to gathering audience feedback and presenting our ideas and proposing in new and innovative ways. Bubbleless, an online mind mapping site, allowed us to create complex and comprehensive representations of our options and throughout processes. It also allowed us to develop on point or represent multiple ideas in a neat and tidy way. This mind map we could then save as a JPEG and upload onto our blogs. This was another key element to the whole A2 media process. Blogging on Postgres allowed us to post audio, video, picture, text and hyperlinks on them, basically everything we use in every step of researching, planning and evaluation. This example of O'Reilly's Web 2.0 process, where the audience can become the producers, not only allowed to present the information we gathered or create, but allow us to help organise what we posted and browse other people's blogs or comment, and even turn and receive comments on what we posted. However, in colleges sometimes this site was blocked due to safety restrictions, making the course more difficult, as it was such an essential aspect of the entire course. Posting to these sites sometimes became difficult to do in college too, as Google Mail often blocked access to it because the volume of students attempted to access it. They thought that we were spamming the site. We also found the restrictions of the size of the attachments we could post problematic. 25 megabytes does not always provide enough memory to post large audio or video files. We had to overcome this by compressing the file sizes or splitting the files and sending them separately. The online chart tool was also a useful site when we're thinking of initiative ways of representing information gathered. We used it to show the readership of some local newspapers and demographics of local areas. Only quantitative data can be represented, but it was nevertheless useful when analysing data we collected from our audience research we conducted before creating our product. During the audience research, we used Facebook as a way of gathering audience opinions for a wider and varying samples. Though we did not have sampling frame or structure, we managed to access a wide variety of stories for examples. Although we accepted the majority of participants were younger than other average newspaper readership age for local newspapers like ours, next time we plan to use other methods of audience research to gather a more valid result. However, the proof that such a variety of people now use social interactive sites such as Facebook provides evidence for Fortune Veblen's theory of how digital technologies are becoming more widely used. Constructing my A2 media course, we were briefed to create local newspapers. Slightly restricting and limiting in my opinion, I did not think that we would be able to be as creative as I would have liked to have been, because I was following strict codes and conventions. To some extent, we was proven right, although we did get a great deal of freedom when creating mastheads and editing pictures for my print advert. In Adobe Photoshop Element 5.0, we were able to achieve extreme detail and precision both in editing existing photos and creating new files. Although this was sometimes difficult to use and crashed quite often, I found that we could use Photoshop to its best when creating our advert because we had freedom to create what we wanted to. The tools were most often used were the cut and magnetic lasso tool, eraser, colour droppers in our posters, which we made the boxer image black and white. This required extensive use of the dodge tool, which allowed us to drain the colour out of the image, leaving the grayscale image behind. The use of these tools were better in A2 product because of the practice we got in AS product. Bentley 1997 deemed creativity as the making of the new and rearranging of the old. This is what I think we did in the end, as we had to rearrange and replicate the generic conventions of a newspaper, but we also had granted a free range of scope to create our print and radio adverts and create synergy between all three products. Quark Express 8 was difficult to use. This, however, did not allow much freedom for creativity, as this is more of a struggling piece of software given the precision in layout and format and then detailed aesthetics. When creating the radio advert as an ancillary task, we used H2 voice recorders to record what we wanted to say in certain sound effects because they had an incredibly high quality recording ability. And were simple to use and transfer data onto computers to edit in Adobe Audition 3.0. That, although is difficult to use, allowed us to change the radio advert and intensely adapt and improve. We could layer sounds, cut and move sound waves and change the frequency. These are some of the most basic abilities of the software, but allowed us to create an incredible end result. When taking photos of our newspaper front covers and posters, we used a variety of different cameras. Holly used a Canon ESO SLR for pictures accompanying all of her stories, and Ashley used a Nikon D770 SLR on the newspaper stories and posters. These cameras, although big and difficult to transport, were incredible at taking detailed professional photographs. The selection of functions and programs on the cameras make them exceedingly versatile and effective. Combined with their interfitted lighting in the studio, the pictures we're able to create were more complex, detailed and richer than photographs taken by ordinary point-and-shoot cameras, allowing us to achieve greater and more convincing images. Using the SLR helped us follow the rule of thirds better because through the guides and the digital screen we could manually change the focus and depth of field. The skills we used in the camera work during AS product we are expanded upon and used to their best advantage. During this evaluation, digital technology has been crucial. Not only does the final evaluation form have to be presented in digital form, but the whole process of creating the evaluation has to be done through digital technologies. CamStudio, the downloadable software that enables the user to record whatever is on screen, has been possibly the most essential part of the evaluation process apart from the H2 handy recorders. CamStudio allows us to record all the visual sequences, such as to create a diagram on the online chart tool, or the process in which we found our JITREG evidence for the audience demographic. Adjustable screen size and the zoom and pan features of a CamStudio, whilst limited and rigid nevertheless, used to make a sequence of more exciting information, as we could zoom into the more important parts of the screen and pan across information such as the table and the JITREG, making them easier to understand and follow. Importing these CamStudio files into Windows Movie Maker, we could then shorten these sequences and add text and still images and rearrange the sequence in order to create a video with meaning and significance. The audio files with the commentary to match visual components of the evaluation can be then imported onto other layers in Windows Movie Maker, allowing us to synchronize them and anchor the visual meaning with words. This program, whilst essential, was however in some ways limited as it provided only a few usable and professional looking transitions and is quite simplistic.